Hello there, good to see you on this channel. So welcome back, and today we are going to start off with a new concept called PLSQL. So I've started learning PLSQL recently and it's very interesting, and I would like to share with you whatever I'm learning on PLSQL. It will be a series of lectures, and in the first part of this lecture we'll be learning some basics of PLSQL. We'll look at what are the blocks inside a PLSQL code. We'll see what is if, nested if else, and if else conditions in PLSQL code. We'll understand the difference between anonymous blocks and procedures. Finally, we'll wind up the discussion by looking at how to execute a SQL query inside PLSQL. So when I say SQL, I hope you all know what is SQL, and I've posted many lecture videos on SQL. If you've not visited any of those lectures, or if you're very new to SQL, please learn SQL and come to PLSQL. So I'll be posting the links to all these lectures in the description. So you can first learn SQL and then you can come to PLSQL, because we'll be using SQL in our PLSQL code. So we'll start off this discussion with this very first question. What is SQL? We all know SQL. SQL is a structured query language, and the sole purpose of SQL is it is used for manipulation of data inside the relational database management system. So here I'm using Oracle11g Express Edition. Again, I have installed this. And how do you go ahead and install Oracle11g Express Edition? For this, I have posted another video lecture. I'll be leaving the link for that video in the description below. So those who are new or those who want help on installation of Oracle11g Express Edition, so you can go ahead and follow that and be ready with your software. So SQL is nothing but structured query language, which is a tool, which is a language for manipulating data inside a relational database management system. And the relational database management system that we are using here is Oracle11g Express Edition. And we all know in a database that the data is stored in tables and it's linked using foreign keys. So SQL we are familiar with. Let's take up this very simple table, an employee table. And the table has got these columns: name, SSN, new salary, and supervisor SSN. Now the assignment is what we have to do is we have to fetch all the employees whose salary is greater than 20,000. So how will you write a query? So new sal, this is the salary. So we have one employee whose salary is greater than 20,000. So the query here is select name from employee where salary is greater than 20,000. I have written this and executed this. So you'll be able to execute such queries on the database and pull data out. But then what if you're asked to do something like this? Can you write SQL query for this? Say you fetch the employee salary. If salary is greater than 30,000, then you have to display employees enjoying life. If salary is lesser than 30,000, you have to say employees just working for free. Can you write SQL query for this? So it's not possible. So what is that we understand here is it's not possible to achieve everything using a SQL query. Of course, we have business logic. We have server-side scripts wherein we write business logic, and then we have the server-side scripts, and then we interact with the DB using SQL. So that's the normal thing we do, and SQL has got its own limitations. See, we can't write everything. You can't write the entire business logic in SQL, right? So this is where the limitation comes. SQL as such has got some limitations, and to achieve the entire business logic, we'll be going in for scripts or high-level programming languages which interact with the DBMS. But with PLSQL, we'll be able to write a code which has got procedural capability. Say you can use, I'll just give an example. You can use if statement, if else statement, you can use loops. So you'll also be able to embed SQL queries inside the code. So you'll be able to write a procedure or a function which will execute on the database, and then it will fetch you the results. Now, how it is different from a server architecture like this? This entire code will be compiled as a unit and it will be stored on the database engine. So you're going to have a good performance. Your efficiency is going to improve. Whereas when you're going to have server-side script connecting to the database, executing things, it's not going to be as efficient as things you're seeing here. So this is like one unit that is getting compiled. The PLSQL code is going to be compiled and stored on the database engine itself. And it's portable, that is, you can run this code on any instance. So that is why PLSQL is more efficient when it comes to adding procedural capabilities to your SQL. See, I'll not be able to achieve this in SQL, right? So this is difficult. You can't achieve this in SQL. Either you have to take up a high-level programming language, you have to get the data and achieve that using this language, or else you can use PLSQL. You'll be able to achieve this. This entire code will be compiled and stored as an unit inside the database engine. So that makes it perform better when compared to the high-level language code that we are using here. So that is where we are going to use PLSQL. I hope you understood. SQL has got no procedural capabilities, whereas when you talk about PLSQL, it's just adding procedural capabilities to SQL. So those who are confused by now by all this theory, nothing to worry. We'll be understanding these things as we take up some practical examples in the coming slides. So what is PLSQL? It stands for Procedural Language / Structured Query Language. PL is Procedural Language / Structured Query Language. So as I told you, PLSQL offers a set of procedural commands, if statements, loops, assignments, organized within blocks that complement and extend the reach of SQL. So you can't have everything like if else loops, you can't have that in SQL. So PLSQL extends the capabilities of SQL. You'll be able to have if else statements, loops. You'll be able to write assignments, everything using PLSQL. And PLSQL program units are compiled by the Oracle database server and stored inside the database. So this is where it is different from a high level language, right? You're going to have this entire unit compiled and stored on the database server. So at runtime, both PLSQL and SQL run within the same server process. So this brings optimal efficiency. So with this understanding of why we are going for PLSQL and how it is different from SQL and what capabilities it's going to have, we'll first look at the structure of a PLSQL code. So when you talk about PLSQL, it's divided into blocks. So we have three sections here. So declare, begin, and exception. So these are keywords. So declare is a keyword, begin is a keyword, exception is a keyword. So the name suggests what declare is. You declare all the variables within this declare section. So here I have used a variable name message, and this is the data types. Here we are using Oracle11g Express Edition. So the data type supported by Oracle, we can mention that here. And here it's variable length character of 100, and I'm storing hello world with this variable. And the main part of your PLSQL code will be inside the begin. So this talks about the code that executes your core logic. So dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, this is nothing but print statement. Quite a weird print statement. dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and message is the variable. So it's going to print hello world. Very basic. We are just printing hello world to the user. Exception is used for handling any exceptions that may arise while you are executing this specific PLSQL block on the database process. And if you are going to have any exceptions, it's going to throw you the exception SQL error message to the user. Finally, we end that with an end statement. So this is a PLSQL block. What is a PLSQL block? It has got three main sections, that is declare, begin, and exception. And declare is for declaring variables. Begin is where the core logic, the code that executes, right? The logic is written. So begin, say if you're going to have if else statements, loops, everything will be under begin. Exception is any exception that you're going to catch and you're going to throw will be under the exception. So declare and exception sections are optional. It's not mandatory that your PLSQL block should have all the three sections, but the important section is begin. So you can have a PLSQL block without the begin section. Let's execute a simple PLSQL block now. Let's go to the editor. Let's start working on this. So here's my editor. The very first statement, you want to print something to the user when you're going to use dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. What is that you have to do is you should set server output on. So the very important step. Without this step, you'll not be able to see the output. So Set server output on is very important, and let's start writing this block of code. So we have declare, and we have this variable which is varchar2. So you're going to use the Oracle data types here, and this is the assignment. Colon equal to is the assignment, and hello world is the string we are going to store in this variable message. And then we can go with the next section, begin, very important. And what is that we are going to do? dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We are going to just call the variable message, pass it as an argument to this function, and we can have an exception block too. So when others, then we'll print the exception out using dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and that is a SQL error. The exception we are just printing, and then we'll end the block. So we have written this block. Finally, we have to execute this block with a slash. So that will execute this block. Hello world, PLSQL procedures successfully completed. So we have executed a very first SQL procedure, that is PLSQL procedure. So what is that we have done here? Declared a variable, and this is the assignment. Say it's not just equal to, it's colon equal to. Quite a pain when you're not used to colon equal to, you'll be getting some syntax issues. So this is mandatory, and begin dbms underscore output dot put underscore line message is where you're going to print the message or the variable out. Exception is just printing the exception when there's an issue in executing this block. So hello world is the output. How you execute this block? After the end and a semicolon, you give a slash, you execute it. I hope you guys are following. So let's move on. Let's take a look at other concepts in PLSQL. Let's go to our presentation. So we have finished executing a simple PLSQL block now. I hope you were able to follow this simple example. So be cautious about this assignment statement, wherein I get a lot of issues whenever I miss that colon, an issue comes up. So this block of code that we have just now written, it's called an anonymous block. Why we say it's an anonymous block? Because this block of code, it doesn't have a name, right? You don't have a name. So you just execute it once, that's it. You want to just call it again, you're not able to call it again because you don't have a name for this. So you call such block. So this block you see here is an anonymous block. And normally you can write anonymous blocks with just a begin statement too. As I told you, declare and exception are optional statements. So we can have begin. We can directly say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and we can print hello world as a string here, colon, and we can end, and then we can execute it. That's it. PLSQL procedure successfully completed. It's quite easy, right? So declare and exception are optional, but begin is mandatory. So with this, let's take a look at the next concept, that is procedures. So instead of just writing anonymous blocks which can be run once, we can write give a name to these anonymous blocks. You call them as a procedure. So what is the use of having a name? If you have a name, you can call it anytime, anywhere. So it's going to take that piece of code and execute it. So here you see, this is an anonymous block. It has no name, right? You can execute it once. Whereas when you talk about procedures, this is how you create a procedure: create or replace procedure. So create is for creating the procedure. Say when you want to update the procedure, you're just going to make some changes, so it will replace the procedure. So this is the procedure name. I've just given my name, hello Satish, to be the name for this PLSQL procedure. This is a keyword, and the remaining things, this is a declaration, and begin follows, and we are printing the declared variable, and finally an end with a slash. So an anonymous block becomes a procedure only when you give a name to it. Okay, now let us create a procedure. Let's print hello world using a procedure. Let's go to the editor. Let's clear screen. So how you create a procedure? It is create or replace procedure, and Maybe I'll say hi from Satish to be the procedure name. Is the keyword, and we can have this variable that's varchar 200, and obviously the assignment colon equal to hello world. So you can have your declarations here. Next we'll have the begin statement and dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Just pass the variable message end semicolon. We can say end hi from underscore Satish semicolon and then slash. Now, and this is where a procedure is different from an anonymous block. First, let's create this procedure. Let's just press an enter. A slash. Procedure created. So here the procedure is not executed, it is getting created. So how to execute this procedure? Say we have given this name hi from Satish. So this is the name for the procedure. So how to execute this? You can call exec and then you can give the procedure name hi from Satish. Hello world. Our procedure got executed. So what is the use of this? Whenever I want this procedure, I can just call exec hi from Satish. Done. Not only that, you can call this procedure in part of other PLSQL blocks. Say, let me clear screen and say if you're going to have another block of code and then you just want to call this procedure hi from Satish from within this block end. And when you execute this block, you can very well see hi from Satish, the procedure was called and then it got executed. So I hope now you have understood what is a procedure. It is nothing but a block with a name and you can call that anywhere you want it to. I hope you are following. Please practice these things. Only when you type some code, you'll be able to get a feel of what's happening rather than just listening to or reading concepts. So hi from Satish is done. Now let's go to the next thing in PLSQL, if statement. If, the syntax is if then, the set of statements that should execute, end if expression, then execute the set of statements, end if. So let's go with a small piece of code here. Let's write an procedure and then we'll execute it. Let's go to our editor. So here we'll write a procedure, create or replace procedure Satish procedure. I don't know like what name I should be giving here. Just give Satish procedure and we'll have a variable here, some test to be the value, and I'm going to call it a number data type here, and I'll assign some value 5. So that's the no, I made a mistake here. The keyword is missing, and test is the variable name and number and equal to some value I'm assigning for this value called variable called test. It's 5. Now begin. Now we are going to use if statement. So if the expression is if test is greater than 2. So this is the expression, then is the keyword. What we are going to do, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, we'll say Satish is doing a great job. I think so. So that's the expression that will execute. I mean, that's the statement that will execute if the expression is going to be true. So is test greater than 2? Yes, test is having a value of 5. So that's the expression, that's the statement that will execute. Then we have to say end if. Then end Satish underscore procedure. Procedure created without any issues. Thank God. Now what we'll do is we'll execute this. So for executing this, we'll call exec Satish underscore procedure. And what's going to happen now? Satish is doing Great job. So Satish is doing great job. That's because this expression evaluated to true. So what if this expression is false? What happens if the expression is false? We should have an else, and then we should go with an end if. So we'll have an else condition here. So then the next thing is we'll be looking at if else. So if expression, then we'll be executing. If the expression is true, some statements here will execute. If the expression evaluates to a false, then this else part will execute. End if. Simple if then else and end if. Let's take a look at how to write that. So we'll go ahead with this create or replace. We'll replace the same procedure. What we'll do is we'll call this Satish procedure itself. You can give some meaningful names here. I'm not able to think of any name right now. So we'll have this test to be number and we'll assign it to be 5 as usual. Begin, and now the condition comes if test is greater than 5 and greater than 10. We'll evaluate it to false because we are using an else here. Then what we'll print here is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We'll say Satish is doing a great job. So that is what we are going to print. Now comes else. Else Satish underscore line. We can say Satish is doing nothing. That will be the output. And end if. Next comes end Satish procedure and a slash. Let's replace this procedure. Okay, no errors. And now how will you execute this? Execute this, call exec Satish underscore procedure. So Satish is doing nothing. That's the output. That's because the else part got executed. So we have finished if, we have finished if else, and we have understood what a procedure is. Good. Now let's take a look at what's in store for us next. If else if. So we have learned this nested if else in various other programming languages. I have discussed this time and again in many languages, but with PLSQL, there's a small difference. That is, if expression, then a set of statements will execute, and we'll have else if. Again an expression, then again an expression, and then, and finally an else. So it's going to be a series of checks. If none of these checks work out, the else part will finally execute, and then end if. Now let us understand nested if else syntax by using a simple piece of code. So what this code does is it's going to check a number against a series of values. Say we have this variable test, we'll assign some value for this test. If test equals 1, then we'll print ONE1. If test equals 2, then we'll print TWO. If test equals 3, then we'll print THREE. If test is not equivalent to 1, 2 or 3, then we're going to say no match found. So we're going to use nested if else here. We'll start with this procedure. So it's a create or replace procedure. So the thing is Satish test procedure is the name for this procedure I am giving, and this is the keyword. Now we're going to have this variable test to be of type number. We'll assign it some value 2. Now we'll begin. And what is that? We're going to check if the expression test, this is the expression test equals 1, then see when you're using equality operator, it's equal to. When it is an assignment, it is called an equal to. Don't mess up these two things. So if test equals 1, then we'll say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We'll say it is 1. Else if, so elsif, it's not elsif. So else if test equals 2, then what we are going to say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. So we're going to say that is 2. Else if, so again test equals 3, then what we are going to say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. It is 3. So if test is not equal to 1, 2 or 3, then it comes to the else part, and then it's going to say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. No match found. So that's what is going to be the output. And finally, end if and end the procedure, Satish, test procedure, quite a long name. Okay. Now we'll finish the procedure created without any issues. Now let's execute this. Execute Satish underscore test procedure. What should be the output here? It should be 2, right? 2. Yeah. So we have understood if, nested if else, and if else. Please practice this. You may get some syntax issues. If you give ELSE space if, you're going to get an issue. I have faced all these issues, and by just practicing I was able to rectify some of them. Now let us go to the next concept, that is after nested if else, what we learn in programming languages, it is the case expression. So what is the syntax for the case statement? Switch case. We say that switch case, here we say it's a case statement. Now let us take a look at the syntax for a simple case statement. So we'll be taking an variable here. If that variable matches a particular result, then we'll execute a set of statements. If it is matches another set of results, then we'll execute another set of statements. If the variable is not matching any of the results given here, then the else statement will work. So again, it's like a switch case statement which you have learned in C, C++, or whatever language it is, PHP, Java or JavaScript, except for the syntax variations. Let's take a look at an example, then you'll be able to understand. We'll just convert the example that we have taken with nested if else into a simple case statement. We'll achieve the same result. Let's go to the editor and let's start working on this. So let me clear screen. So it's a create or replace procedure, and we can call this Satish case program, something like that. Ace is the keyword, and now we're going to have a variable here. I'll call this test value to be of type number. It's going to be assigned a value to. Now we'll begin. This is the begin section. And what we are going to have here is we are going to go with the case. Case, this is the variable case test val. When it is 1, then what we are going to do is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We're going to print one. So when the value of test val is 1, then we're going to print 1. When 2, then dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, we're going to print 2. When 3, then dbms underscore output dot put underscore line 3. In case, then we'll end the procedure Satish underscore case program, and then we'll create this procedure created without any issues. Now I will execute this. Execute Satish underscore case program. So the output should be TWO, right? So this is a simple case statement. So you have this variable, and then when it matches 1, this executes. When it matches 2, it executes. When it matches 3, it executes. When this variable is not matching any of the cases here, then in case, I mean, okay, there's something I have missed here. That is, you also have an else part here. So you have an else, and then you're going to go with an execution of the else part when there is no match here. So I have missed that. Since our value was 2, this executed fine. Maybe we'll take up one more example. We can also have some characters here. Say instead of number, let me take a character. There I'll be including this else condition. We'll be able to see this. Let me clear screen, and we'll take a character, a simple case statement with a character. Create or replace procedure. We'll call this Satish case program. Yes is the keyword. We'll have this test val now to be a character of 1. We'll assign this to be some character here. Say I'll call this yes. So we'll have this character and begin. Now we'll have this case statement, case test value. When it is a, what we'll say when the character is a, then we can say dbms underscore output put underscore line. We'll say that is Anand. Just print Anand. Maybe we'll have one more thing here. When it is m, then we'll print dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We'll print Matthew. When it matches yes, then we'll print dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Yeah, I'll put my name as Satish, and else when the case is not matching a, m or l, yes, we'll have an else. This is what I missed in the previous example. So it's like the default thing, put underscore line. We'll say no match found, and in case in the program Satish underscore case program, and finally we'll complete the procedure created without any issues. Now we'll execute this, execute Satish underscore case program. So here you see you can also use characters. Likewise, you can also use a string here. I can put satish when test12 equals Satish. That will work. So you can also use entire string here. That's how it works. Let me execute this procedure again with a string. So it's create or replace procedure. Satish case program is, and here instead of saying character of 1, I'll say character of 10, and here I have an entire set of characters here. And let's go with this begin case test well. Instead of say when Anand, then just dbms put Anand. Maybe I'll type when. We'll have two cases here, when Satish. Then what we'll have is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We'll have Satish is doing fine. Okay, so this is going to be printed. Else when no match is found, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, no match found. In the case, in the procedure Satish underscore case program, and complete the procedure created without any issues. Let's execute this procedure, that is exec. What is the procedure name? Satish underscore case program. So what will be the output here? Satish is doing fine is the output. So what we have understood here is we can use a simple case statement with a number, with a character, with a string. So it's going to work fine. So you're going to have case, the variable. When it matches a value, then execute a set of statements. If it's not matching any of the values in the when statement, then you're going to have an else, and then that default thing will execute. So this else was an optional thing, right? Our program executed even without this else, but if none of the matches are found here, then you're going to end up with an issue. So I think you might be tired now. So let's wind up this session. What all we have learned, we have understood we have understood the difference between PLSQL, and we have understood. So what is it we have understood in this session? We understood what is PLSQL, what are the advantages that PLSQL bring with us when compared to SQL. And we have seen the basic blocks in a PLSQL code. We have seen what are anonymous blocks and how they are different from procedures. We have created some simple procedures. We have seen the three main sections: declare, begin, and exception. And then we went on, we understood certain conditional statements like if else, and nested if else, all with examples. Then we moved on to case statement, wherein we have seen a simple case statement. And we also have something called case expressions. Maybe I'll give you an example on case expression and then we'll wind up. So what is this case expression? Create or replace procedure Satish underscore, I'll call this case program 2 is, and we'll have this test val. This is to be of type number and I'll assign it to be 2. So now we're going to have a begin section and case. Now we're going to have an expression. So now it's not going to be a case, simple case statement. It's going to be a case expression. That is when test val is greater than 2 and test val is greater than 2, then we'll say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We'll say test val is greater than 2. Okay. When, so here we are having an expression itself. When test val is lesser than 2, or else we'll say test val is lesser than 3, we'll say, then what we can say is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Test val is lesser than 3. Okay, so that we are going to say. Else we'll have this default thing, that is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. We'll say nothing works, and finally we'll end case and end procedure Satish underscore case program 2 and complete this procedure created with some compilation errors. Select star from user errors where name is equal to, in caps, Satish underscore case program 2. I think it selects star from user error. It's user underscore errors. I'm sorry. Yeah. So this is how you debug, like select star from, the table name is user underscore errors where name is equal to the table name in capital letters. I mean the procedure name in capital letters. So how you find the errors? Select star from user underscore errors where the name of your procedure in capital letters. It's mandatory you give that in capital letters. So it's in line number 4. Encounter that symbol when expecting one of the following. So where is that error? In line number 4. Where is our code? Okay, so there is a space here. It's not colon space equal to. That's the issue. So we have understood how to debug the issues too. So you have to find select star from, the table name is user underscore errors where name is equal to the procedure name in capital letters. So it's in line number 4. Just a space has screwed up our entire thing. Let's fix this up. Create or replace procedure Satish underscore, and here we should not have a space. And let's begin case expression statement else a statement end case end procedure, complete it. Fix the issue. Now let us execute our procedure, that is exec Satish underscore case program 2. So the output should be test val is lesser than 3. With that, we are coming to an end of this session. If you have any questions, you can post your comments below. I'll be looking at it. I hope you all enjoyed this session. Thank you all for listening. Take care.